Hello, my name is Beck and welcome to the genre book tag. This tag was created by Violet from Violet and the Never Ending TBR. I'll link her channel and video down below in the description. And when I saw this on her channel, I got really excited because I've been looking for a new tag to do recently. So this tag, you basically choose a genre that you read a lot from and then you go ahead and answer the questions. So she said you can do it as many times as you like, but I'm just going to be doing it this once, and I have chosen fantasy as my genre. Not really a surprise if you are familiar with my channel. Question number 1 is name one of your favourite standalone books. And in Violet's video, she actually used Warbreaker. So Warbreaker is a standalone so far book from Brandon Sanderson, and the magic system deals with colour, and as usual with his magic systems, it's very intricate. I adored this book and I can't wait to reread it, but because Violet used it for her video, it feels like I'm kind of cheating if I use it for mine. So I'm going to go ahead and say Uprooted by Naomi Novik, and the premise for it is that there's a bunch of girls in this town and there's a sorcerer named the Dragon, and every year he takes a new girl and takes her off to his castle, and then the girl is never seen again. And this girl that we follow, I think she either volunteers or is chosen by the dragon, and she is thus taken away, and you find out why. It has such a long, whimsical writing style, and while I didn't really enjoy Spinning Silver by her, I did really like Uprooted by her, so I think that thoroughly answers this question. Question number 2 is name one of your favourite series, and I have a ton of favourite fantasy series, and considering I've already talked about Brandon Sanderson, I don't want to revisit him too much, even though he's obviously one of my favourite authors. So for this question, I'm going to go with Traitor's Blade by Sebastian de Castell. He is one of my favourite authors, and I discovered him last year and absolutely binged this series. I adored it, and I gave all of the books 5 out of 5 stars. This book has Three Musketeers vibes, and the three main characters are kind of like veterans. So they used to be in service to the king, but the king has been murdered, and so they've kind of been cut loose, and now they're selling themselves as sellswords, and they don't really know what they want to do with their lives anymore. And then one day they get set up and blackmailed to look like they murdered the person that they're supposed to be guarding, and that's where it takes off. And the banter in this it's just amazing, and I loved it for its characters so much. So much. So this is definitely one of my favorites. Question number 3 is what is a trope that you like in this genre? And I really like the rags to riches trope, when a character comes from nothing or is orphaned and then discovers that they have the ability to tap into either a secret power, like in the Chosen One trope, which is a trope that I don't actually mind, or that they just have to work hard to find and build a magic that they didn't realize they had, or they go through a training montage and they become a soldier, or just something like that. I love the starting from nothing and then becoming something great, and that might not be necessarily magical abilities like I said, but it also might be chosen family or found friendships or found family. I love those tropes a whole ton, and I will read them across genres, especially the chosen family one. Question number 4 is what is a trope that you don't really like in this genre? And I don't know, I don't necessarily love the old wise wizard trope. I found that Brent Weeks really turned this one on its head with a very unlikable character, and he was always very political, and he was always like 27 steps ahead of any character that had a conversation with him, and so he was just really infuriating, but he had his own goals and his own heart, and his name is Andros Guile, and I really like that character, and I like it when that trope gets subverted a little bit, but I don't really care for like a Gandalf character. Gandalf actually annoys me because he's so overpowered and then he just disappears every now and then, and he's really unreliable, so I'm not a huge Gandalf fan. Question number 5 is a disappointing book in this genre, and I talked about this book briefly about a year ago, but it's The Painted Man by Peter V. Brett. It's an apocalyptic book set in a fantasy world where demons are coming back and basically killing off all of the humans, so it's a really stressful and terrifying society to live in, but I just found that I couldn't read it because of the way that I perceived sexism in it, and everyone has their line when they're reading content that is of an explicit nature, and I just decided to draw my line, and The Painted Man was on the other side. So I didn't like The Painted Man. I gave it 1 star, unfortunately. Loved the concept and the premise, but just didn't like the execution. And I also mentioned earlier that I didn't love Spinning Silver by Naomi Novik. I found that to be a little bit draggy for me, and even though it was beautifully written, it just wasn't really my jam. Question number 6 is a book that is on your TBR that you really want to get to soon, and I have A Clash of Kings by George R.R. Martin. So I've got this whole series on my TBR, but I kind of set this one to read this year so that I'd kind of make some headway but not put too much pressure on myself to read all of the books at once. I read A Game of Thrones a couple of years ago, so I'm just slowly chomping away at this series. I'm reading it now and I'm filming a vlog, so you'll see my thoughts as I go when reading this. So I'm glad to say that I've actually started this year because I didn't think I would. Question number 7 is an intimidating fantasy book or series, and for this one I definitely have to go with 2. So I've got The Wheel of Time, which is first off because that fandom is so widespread and the books are so massive and there's a lot of them as well. So definitely The Wheel of Time, but it's one that I do want to tackle in the future. I don't know how soon in the future, but I do want to read them eventually. And then the second one is The Witcher, and I keep seeing a lot of promo for the Netflix show, which I am so hyped about. But I haven't read the books and I've only played a little bit of the video game. So I love the whole aesthetic. I love Geralt. I think he's amazing. And I love to dive into that world, but because people are so gung-ho in the fandom and so passionate about loving it, I'm a little bit intimidated because I don't want that pressure on me when I start the series. And I've been told that I should start with the short stories first, and I'm not a huge short story lover, so Question number 8 is, what is another book genre that you want to read more of? Mine would definitely be contemporary. I do participate in Contemporary-a-thon when I can, and I like to kind of supplement my fantasy and sci-fi reading with a contemporary book every now and then because I think that keeps me a little bit fresher. That said, I have read a lot of fantasy back to back recently and they've all been long fantasy, so even if it's just something that's short to supplement my books that might be in the same genre that I'm reading, like I might be reading a ton of adult fantasy that's really big, and so I might deviate into reading a young adult fantasy, which is fairly shorter and usually more fast-paced and palpable. But in this case, I want to read a little bit more of contemporary because I have a few on my shelf, including It Sounded Better in My Head by Nina Kenwood. I've heard this is just a delight and it's very funny. It's kind of romantic comedy-ish, and I picked this up very recently, a few months ago in August, I think. So I don't want it to sit on my TBR pile for very long, which is why I'm choosing this one for this question. And then question number 9 is, what is a book genre that intimidates you the most? And I would have to say historical fiction. I'm not a huge history lover. I find it really dry, and I know that it can be really interesting, but I don't want to say I don't care, but I don't care. I just don't get invested in it. As soon as a historical aspect comes into a story, I just go, I don't care. This reminds me of history class at high school, which I was just bored for the entire time. So historical fiction's not really for me, and I did read The Book Thief earlier this year and I just gave it like 3 stars. It's just not a thing that I'm passionate about, unfortunately. And then question number 10 is tag people. So I am going to tag Tanika, April, Chelsea Darling Reads, Piera, Kaz, and Chammy if you want to do this tag as well. Thank you so much for watching this video. Thank you to Violet for creating this tag. This was a lot of fun to just get in and chat about some things in my favorite genre, and thank you so much for watching. I can't wait to talk to you in the comments, but for now I will see you in my next video. Bye.